So Dave Ramsey is a personal finance guru who has had success getting millions of people out of debt. He's a New York Times best-selling author, runs a widely popular finance podcast, and a multi-million-dollar business, Ramsey Solutions. In this video, I'll cover some of his best financial advice, most of which I've followed firsthand, and I'm confident that these tips can also help you out in a major way. In recent years, Dave Ramsey has become a bit of a polarizing financial advisor, since some of his takes on money are a bit controversial. One thing I do want to call out before covering this list is that Dave's ideology on finance is not always the most mathematically optimal way of doing things. He really focuses more on the psychology behind these decisions. Really, his advice is to change the way you think and behave with money. Listening to Dave's strategies helped me pay off $22,000 of college debt 1 year out of school, buy a $30,000 car in cash, and hopefully set myself up to retire a millionaire. And once again, I believe you can do all of this and more. First up, if you find yourself overspending every single month, this tip could be the little secret that you're avoiding that's really driving the issue. So number one is to act your wage. Said another way, live on less than you make. Do not spend money on things that you cannot afford. Now, to determine if you can truly afford something, Dave Ramsey has a pretty simple answer. Ramsey says being able to afford something means there's money in the budget to pay for it outright, at least right now. When it comes to spending, once you consistently keep this mindset, you'll have a much better relationship with money. This concept is especially important for items you'd have to buy on credit, and really kind of waiting until you have the cash available to make purchases will help you avoid going into credit card debt. And really, this process is all about patience rather than instant gratification, which again is something that Dave consistently preaches. As mentioned in the intro, I took a bit of an extreme route waiting to have enough cash to buy a car, but I knew that I lived in the city and could get around using public transportation, and also I really wanted to avoid having any form of debt. Of course, there are certain items you need to exist, for example, groceries, but these should really be the building blocks of your budget to begin with. With that being said, I do think it's natural to treat yourself from time to time with different purchases, so long as it doesn't put you into any form of debt. Now, although it's important to act your wage, we all know that unplanned life events are bound to happen, and that's really where this next tip comes into play. Next up is build an emergency fund. For those unfamiliar with this concept, let me explain it pretty simply. Emergency funds are savings set aside for unplanned life events. This could be unplanned medical bills, home repairs, auto repairs, and really just things like that. The general rule of thumb for a fully funded emergency fund is enough money to cover 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. So this could include various expenses like your rent, groceries, utilities, auto loan, gas, and different areas like that. So basically, if you lose your job, this buffer of 3 to 6 months worth of cash will help keep you afloat until you find a new source of income. As mentioned in previous videos, I try to save 12 months for my own emergency fund. It allows me to take more risks with my money and also to understand that I do have this financial safety net if anything bad ever happens. In your own life, as you start to build up an emergency fund, I highly recommend opening an HYSA or a high yield savings account to safely store your money. On this channel, we've reviewed a lot of the top HYSA options, SoFi, Wealthfront, American Express, and plenty of others. So if you're interested, I recommend checking out these videos to find which one best fits your own situation. These accounts generally pay out more interest versus the standard brick and mortar bank, and are really just a safe place to store your money until you really need it. Also, if you want more insight into where you stand financially, make sure to click the first link in the description to take our completely free finance assessment. This only takes a couple minutes to complete and is a great reflection tool. And now back to the video. Next up is one of Dave's most controversial financial takes, but there is a method to his madness. Next up is use the debt snowball method. When it comes to paying off debt, Dave Ramsey suggests using what's known as the snowball method. So this can be to pay off your credit card debt, auto loans, any student loans. For those unaware, there are really two main ways to pay off debt. The first is the snowball method, and the second is avalanche. The snowball method is all about paying off your smaller balances first, regardless of any interest rates. This goes back to Dave's psychological teaching, where as you pay off these smaller balances, you'll start to build some confidence and momentum as you consistently knock out these different debt balances. The second method is avalanche, which is where you pay off your higher interest balances first. And this is actually going to help you save money in the long run, as you'll spend less overall. If you do want to follow the snowball approach that Dave often recommends, you really want to just list out all of your debt balances and then pay off those balances from smallest to largest, regardless of interest rates. You'll still want to pay the minimum payment amounts for these other balances. But again, this approach is really start with the smallest balance and then go to the next smallest, on and on until you're fully debt free. Now, admittedly, when I paid off my student loans in my early 20s, I did follow the avalanche approach just because I did a lot of financial modeling and saw that I would be saving a fairly significant amount of money by using this approach. But it does depend on if you need that motivation or just want to save the most money overall. I do have a separate video where I covered Dave's famous 7 baby steps method, and I'll link that above if you want to check it out. Next is to put 15% of your paycheck to retirement. Dave's simple method is to contribute 15% of your gross income to a tax advantage retirement account. And this is really things like 401ks or IRAs. To actually hit this 15% amount, it can be very helpful if you have an employer contribution match. For example, if your employer matches 5%, you only have to contribute 10% out of your own paycheck to hit this threshold. Now, before immediately investing 15%, I do recommend meeting with a financial advisor who can better assess your own personal situation. Reason being, if you're closer to the retirement age or if you want to retire early, 15% may not be enough. Also, if you're further away from your retirement age, chances are you can be a bit more aggressive in the investment options you select. More aggressive options include investing in stocks versus bonds, as you have more time and are able to take on a little bit more risk. Dave often suggests contributing this 15% into what he calls good growth stock mutual funds. These are investment options where historically returns have been pretty steady. Mutual funds are basically just portfolios of stocks or bonds that are managed by professionals. So all you have to do is invest your money and the professionals take care of the rest. Instead of randomly picking individual stocks, you can invest in a mutual fund and spread your money across many companies. This will help diversify your portfolio and hopefully limit risk. Again, I recommend meeting with a financial advisor to pick and choose the right funds for you, but there are simple funds that simply track the entire US stock market, and historically this has been a lower risk place to store your money for long-term investing. When it comes to money management, most people look directly at ways to cut expenses, but in reality you can only cut your expenses so far before there's really no money left to play with. And that's why this next tip is to start a side hustle. A side hustle is really just another method of making money outside of your 9-to-5 job. You don't have to find something that matches your current income, but I do think it's realistic to start up a side hustle that can make you an extra $10,000 per year. Side hustles can include bartending or food delivery, but in my opinion, the best thing to do is start a service business, ideally online. This is the approach I've taken for the last decade as a graphic design freelancer. I fused my passion for design and business into a real service that benefits clients. And this side hustle honestly doesn't feel like work all the time, as I'd probably be making art in my spare time either way. Now, to figure out a good side hustle for your own life, I don't recommend the get rich quick drop shipping or whatever any trend is online. In my life, amongst my friends and colleagues, really the best businesses, again, have been service-based. I have friends who also do graphic design freelancing. I have friends that started a company that does junk removal. I know people that flip furniture on Facebook Marketplace. Again, there are many options. You just have to do a little bit of brainstorming. At the end of the day, only having your 9-to-5 is okay if you have a demanding job or have to care for a family. But I do think that people have more free time than they often admit. And some of this free time can be used to generate more income to get better control of your money. Hopefully this video gave you some insight into Dave Ramsey's financial lessons that can have a big impact on your money. Let me know your thoughts and any other personal finance tips you follow. Also, make sure to check out this video next.